There's nothing harder than living a full life, only to realize you never truly lived a day with Jesus. I say that not as a preacher, but as a man who's lived both sides of the equation. Decades of knowing him, yet living as if he were a footnote in my story. But somehow his hand never let me go. And now I know why. This is the biblical entrepreneur. It isn't a program, and it's not just a brand. It's a return to purpose, to calling, and to building what God designed from the beginning. A kingdom movement in the marketplace. You see, I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I don't wear a collar, nor do I stand behind a pulpit. I stand where I've always stood, in the grind of business, in the risk of entrepreneurship, in the boardroom, showrooms, and bottom lines of the world. And it's there, in the heart of the hustle, that God called me, and is most likely calling you. This series was born out of a long journey, one that started at 13 when I was prayed over and told that God had a mantle for my life. I didn't know what to do with it. I ran. And I kept running. But after 38 years, through success, failure, a new marriage, brokenness, and rebuilding, I finally stopped running. Because I realized this: you can't outrun a calling that has been written into the soul spiritual part of your DNA. So now I stand not as someone perfect, but as someone positioned. I'm using the only tools I know I have: business experience, this gift of communication, and a deep, relentless love for God and for people. These are the talents God placed in my hand, and it's time that I multiply them. The biblical entrepreneur is where faith meets function, where we stop pretending that business and belief are separate. It's where we put the armor of God on in the boardroom, not just in battle, where we stop compromising like Pergamum, stop performing like Sardis, and start living like Philadelphia, faithful, open doored, and aligned with divine opportunity. This is for the believers who are builders, the tired professionals who still dream of more, the ones who want to start something, not just for profit, but with purpose, the ones who feel God tugging in the middle of the 9 to 5, saying, "There's more I want to do through you." In this series, we'll break down scripture the way we break down strategy. We'll talk about marketing through the lens of truth, about cash flow through the lens of stewardship, about partnerships through the lens of covenant. We'll see what happens when Moses meets mission, when David takes on Goliath with nothing but faith and a sling of bold obedience. And yes, we'll talk about how Jesus, the greatest communicator, recruiter, and leader in history, built the first ever multiplying mission movement, not to sell a product, but to give us the greatest value in eternity: relationship with the Father and purpose on earth. My hope is that this isn't just another YouTube series that you watch. I hope it actually disrupts you, it challenges you, it reminds you that God isn't finished with your business or with you. Whether you're a real estate agent, an investor, an educator, a builder, or a dreamer stuck at a desk job, God has always had something more for you. This is my public yes. I ran from this calling for too long. I said yes in my head, but not in my heart. But now I'm married to a woman who just found Jesus and is ablaze with faith. That fire in her reignited something in me. And I know God is not only giving me another chance, He's demanding I rise and take up the mantle that I once buried. So, to my church family, this is who I've always been, even when I try to hide it. And to everyone watching, listening, or even just reading, the business of your life is meant to be lived with Jesus, not around Him. And it's time that we stop leaving Him at the door when we step into our careers. Let's build something eternal. So, welcome to the Biblical Entrepreneur. Let's get to work. Let's build a kingdom that doesn't just speak faith, it lives it.